Welcome back to the Shellington Kart Club Superprix meeting. It's the Junior TKM E-Plate for the English Championship. Up next, Matthew Taylor on fire this season. He goes off pole, the 29 kart. Got Suzanne Gutsold behind him on the 62. Watch for her. Matthew Graham, the British Championships leader at the moment, is down on P11 with it all to do on what is a 29 kart grid as he comes through the first few turns. That's Cafe Corner, the all-negotiate Cafe Corner. Successfully, it's Taylor out front. Sam Fowler on the 27 there in second place. Roman Haskett's made up a place. Suzanne Gutsold's lost a place, so Haskett up to third. Gutsold down to fourth. Todd Kennedy runs wide out of the hairpin, but no damage done as they all stream down into Bruno Ferrari's chicane. Couple of people making up places in the midfield, but this is the battle for the lead then. The man on the Tony kart, it's Matthew Taylor. Just come off a disappointing round in the British Championship for Matthew up at Lark Hall. But he's trying to put that disappointment behind him this weekend and take this E-Plate down, the new English Championship in karting. And Suzanne Gutsold slides away through to third place in Cafe Corner. Terrific move by Suzanne. For me, she is a changed driver this year, ultra aggressive. Some might say after Buckmore Park a little too aggressive, got involved in an incident there, but hey, listen, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, as you see Christian Briley's turning round. He's a front runner usually in the British Championships as well, but not today. So that's Christian's race over. Listen, at this level, you've got to be aggressive, you've got to take the opportunities when they come, and Suzanne Gutsold, who for me seems like she's been a junior for like 27 years. This will be, I'm sure, her last year as a junior. She wants to go out on a high, and she is having a great season so far. Wants to cap it off with a win, either in the British Championships, and would love to do that here today and go through the rest of the season, through the rest of her junior career with the E-Plate on her kart. She's close enough, if good enough, and we know from this season she most definitely is. She's in it to win it. Can she do it? That remains to be seen, because she has got some quality around her. That's the 24 of Roman Haskett amongst them. 79 Alex Rees in the mix as well. Arguably no greater quality though than the man out front in this race. 29 Matthew Taylor won the first round of the British Championship comfortably. He's not leading it now though. That honour is Matthew Graham's, as we see Graham looking up the inside. He's had to start P11, Graham, so he's got it all to do. But we know he's got the tools to come from further back than 11th to win a race. He's done it from 20 plus places down the grid. So 11th should be no problem then, as he makes up a place on the 18 of Zach Bowen. Matthew Graham started P11 up to 8th place. So he's made up 3 places so far, and he's getting closer to that lead battle, which is headed by Matthew Taylor. Sam Fowler in second, Gutsold then Roman Haskett on the 24, and here comes the 79 for 4th place. Alex Reed through to 4th, drops Haskett down 1, so Haskett started 4th, now down to 5th. Alex Rees, what can he do? There's Graham going through the picture on the 3, getting much closer. He will sense that this race is not outside his capabilities. He knows he's close enough to win this from there. But Taylor out front is where he would want to be. He'd rather be out front than down in 8th place where Matthew Graham is. Sam Fowler right on the back of the leader. Gutsold right in the mix as well. She'll be looking to convert 3rd into 1st. And she's a driver. If it comes down to a last lap shootout, believe me, she's throwing it up the inside. She is not going to allow anybody to go through this final turn. If she's sitting in 2nd place, they're not going through that final turn unchallenged, shall we say. Let's put it that way. We saw last year in the Miami Cadets O-Plate Championship race up at Lark Hall, one of the most dramatic, well, I say one of the most dramatic final turn possibly in karting history, when Johnny Edgar went into the turn in 4th place. The 3 in front tangled, took themselves out, and Edgar nipped up the inside at the final turn to take consecutive British Open titles. And funny enough, this year at the British Open, Johnny Edgar won his 3rd consecutive British Open title. That is something nobody has ever done in history previously. I mention that because this E-Plate event is a bit like the British Open event It's a one-weekend championship event. It really is all about winning. These drivers at the front of this field, listen, they've got enough trophies in the cabinet at home. They don't want another second or third place trophy. Thank you very much. They want the E-plate, a chance to make history, the very first E-plate, and here comes Sam Fowler for his challenge. The man on the Jade Kart, Fowler, is making his bid, has made his bid for the lead and made it stick. Goodsold still there. Alex Rees having a great day as well. Alex there in fourth place. And look at this, Fowler going defensive this early in the race now. That is very interesting. On this circuit at the British Championships a few years ago, a new rule was introduced for this reason specifically. It was for this reason. People defending virtually for the whole race. It became sort of, one race I remember, 25 karts, literally nose to tail. Nobody could make an overtaking move, because the problem with this now is, Fowler now, look at this, he's so far on the inside of the track, he's going to get, I'm telling you now, he's going to get nudged out of the way at some point, because these drivers behind him will not stand for this. If this was a British Championship event, or indeed if you're racing in the United States, you cannot defend on other than the first and the last lap, and you can see he's already so narrow here that pretty much the problem for the drivers behind, if traditionally you would go, okay, well, if you want to go that narrow, I'll make a big wide switchback move, I'll go wide in the hairpin and get you on the undercut coming out of the hairpin. The problem now, the drivers in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they know if they make a big wide switchback move, the drivers behind will just simply fill that spot, and on the exit of the hairpin here, for example, the driver making the switchback would just be hung out to dry and he'd lose 6 or 7 places. Look at this, you've got 9 drivers effectively in a row, not one of them in behind the leader dares to make a big wide move and to try and get him on the exit of the corner, because they know they're going to be overtaken and they're going to be hung out to dry. Now, into Wilkins one more time. Ross Deal there making a move. Oh, and it looks like that may have gone wrong out of the shot of the cameras. Ross Deal was in 5th place there, and look at that, they've lost some time. That's the 31 of Fowler through to 4th place. Alex Rees is still there. Here comes the 3 of Matthew Graham, and it looks like it may have gone pear-shaped for Ross Deal. He was in amongst it, close enough to win, but now that has allowed 3 drivers now to get away. This makes it slightly easier for Matthew Taylor and Suzanne Goodsold. Goodsold looks over his shoulder, sees Joe Fowler there, so it's going to be a 4-kart train, and here comes Matthew Graham to make it 5. Alex Rees looks like he's too far behind now to make an impression, but still defensive driving. Now you may say that I shouldn't be saying that they'll nudge him out of the way, and it's a non-contact sport. Listen, I'm just being honest, I'm just telling you, drivers at this level, and I'm thinking back to the likes of James Beam, for example, the former TKM Works driver and multiple British champion in various TKM classes. If someone thought they were going to overtake James, get the lead, and then just drive a defensive line from halfway through the race all the way to the checkered flag, while James just sat there in 2nd place, let me tell you something, they were getting nudged out of the way at some points. The only question was when he did it and how cute he was going to be. We're getting into the point where if he's going to nudge him out of the way, he's going to have to take place now pretty much. And there's a little nudge, little bit of a push. Taylor through to the lead in the final turn. Fowler's got his hand in the air, but is the clock and the course going to do anything about it? No, he's not, because it was so cute, it was so soft. A little tap, he just runs in wide. Abby Pulling puts in the fastest lap and a new event record. Great result this for Abby Pulling, by the way. Shows the pace she's got. And now, here comes Taylor on the defence, but this is the last lap. You would expect it, to be fair. Let's have a look at the slow motion replay of that move. It's Fowler out front, Taylor in second. Now, Taylor might even say, I didn't even touch him. Didn't touch him, but watch what happens with Fowler's kart. Look how unsettled it is in the braking, and that just allows Matthew Taylor up the inside. And of course Fowler's response almost says to everyone with his hand in the air, he's just nudged me out the way, and now he's got his hand in the air again. Nothing's going to happen. If it was an obvious nudge, a big shunt out of the way, he would get either excluded or a 5-place penalty, but it was so cute. It's given Taylor the win. Fowler second, Goodsold third, Joe Fowler and Matthew Graham rounding out the top 5. cracking action in the Junior TKM race. It's the TKM Extreme class up next, the E-Plate, just 10 in this one, but again, a lot of quality. Not least on pole position, James Ogden, the British Open champion, is on pole and bags himself the lead through the first couple of turns through Cafe Corner. They all get through safely. Now let's have a look at the line James Ogden takes up into the hairpin on the first lap. That's a normal racing line, takes a big wide line into the hairpin, so no defensive driving there. I should, of course, at this stage, probably address some of the concerns I can hear some of you keyboard warriors have about my comments in the previous race that the leader was going to get nudged out the way. I am not saying nudging someone out the way is acceptable. It's not. However, I am a commentator. I have a lot of experience in the sport. I was just telling you exactly what was going to happen and what would have happened in the past with the likes of James Bean, who I mentioned, and the likes of Darryl McDonald. Well, to be honest, Darryl wouldn't have just nudged him out of the way. He would have just fired him off and taken the penalty and said, if I'm not winning, I'm not letting you win driving like that. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's correct, I'm not saying it's legal, I'm just telling you the facts. Here are some of the highlights in this race. That was Jack Griffiths making his bid for the lead before Ogden got him back down through Wilkins. So Ogden back through to the lead with Griffiths in second, Eastwell still sitting there in third. But here's Griffiths having him back, so nip and tuck all the way through. Kai Springfield up the inside of Matthew Horton, just runs in wide, takes the place. Here comes Harry Moore down the inside on the 25 into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Nice move there by Harry, got to be decisive and brave at that point. He was just that and makes up the spot into fifth, but didn't last for long as the 24 slides up the inside Matthew Horton to get the spot back. And here comes the 32 Chris Goffin round the outside. So although this is only a small grid, 10 karts, there's still, look, 4 out front, another 3 just in behind, so 7 of them still in it to win it. Griffiths up to Stratford hairpin this time, takes that defensive line, a little bit of contact between him and Ogden, and taking advantage, Michael Eastwell does himself a brace and takes the lead, and Springfield through to second place. So that defensive driving that time didn't do the leader or the man in second place much of a favour. Let's have a look at it. Here's the replay. There's that defensive line. Now Ogden tries to get him on the switchback, but there's a little bit of contact between them. That slows the pair of them down. Eastwell helps himself to the lead, and Carl Springfield says, thanks very much guys, I'll take second. Well, there were several lead changes over the next few laps. Here's one of them. That's Springfield through to the lead. Eastwell drops back a second. Harry Moore ran wide on the exit, but manages to keep it on. He's back there in 7th place. Here's Springfield losing that lead to Eastwell, who gets it back in Wilkins. Ogden trying to go with him, but he can't get that done at that stage. But he did get it done going through Wilkins just before the start of the last lap. So through to the lead is Ogden. Does he go across the stripe this time? Any one of 7 can win it. But it's Ogden who has the box seat from Eastwell in second place. Jack Griffiths there in third, and he set the fastest lap at 44.64, but through the left-hander. Out onto Stratford, straight up to the Stratford hairpin for the last time. Ogden has the lead. Eastwell round outside, contact between them. Griffiths has now taken the lead. Oh, we've got more contact. So Eastwell and Ogden's have another look. Well, now Ogden's got the lead. Eastwell round the outside. He squeezes Ogden to the inside. I don't think Ogden's done anything wrong there particularly. He had the lead, was squeezed onto the curb. Chris Goffin and Harry Moore, I think that is, sort of went off in sympathy, joined them on the side of the track. It was left to Jack Griffiths to pick up the pieces. And as I did say in an earlier race, he reaped the rewards for being in the right place, that's 3rd place, at the right time when the 2 leaders tangled on the last lap. Top 5 look like this. We're back with more from Shennington after this short break.